What's up, everybody? It's Chad, Powers BMX Shop, Powers BMX Museum. We're standing here in front of the magazine wall, and we're going to do a, I don't know, Chad's favorite picks of the museum, I guess. And we're going to start off with the media, and this is one of my favorite prize videos, is Props Issue 1, unopened. Billy Griggs on the cover. I don't know. This is really cool. I don't know how many of these are out there. I don't think Trey even has one of these. The premiere issue of BMX Plus. Like, I don't think it gets any cooler than this. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
What year?
1978. We're missing a few magazines, so if anybody has some old magazines, let me know. And I guess we're going to start off with my favorite 70s bike. It's going to be this Dan Gurney with Moto Mags. It's kind of the beginning of the era when they went from like the Stingrays with big chopper bars and the Scramblers to like what almost modern day BMX bikes are now. I guess Dan Gurney I guess he built NASCARs or something. Is that right? Like, this bike sucks to ride, but I think it's definitely one of my favorite bikes for the 70s. These aren't original tires. These are new knockoffs. I raced this at the Richmond Duel of the Decades one year, and it was not that fun. Not fun. And then the following year, I think I raced the Scrambler, and this bike sucked too. Now we're going to pick an 80s frame. 80s frames were deep, like those Trick Stars and the Performers, and a lot of that cool freestyle stuff just like changed the industry. But I'm about to go with a late 80s pick and pick the number 001 S&M frame ever made. And I want to say that this is going to be maybe my second prize possession in the museum. Greg Scott, the S of S&M, was cool enough to want to have this here in the museum and sent us his uniform. He said these could be the very first slam bars or S&M bars and forks. We can't confirm that. But with the frame, it says 001 on it. He got it repainted at some point in the 90s, built by Cook Brothers in 87. Yeah, they had to smash the chain stays in to clear the crank arms. Much love to Greg for getting this out to the museum. Can't wait to get him out here for an interview. This is going to be my 90s pick. This bike has a really cool story. His name is Tim Whiteheart. He raced through the into the mid-90s. There's a photo of him, bicycles today from 1992. This is him on this bike. And then Stephen Toth is a good customer of mine. Pete's way back here. His aunt and uncle called me. He passed away in like the late 90s, held onto these bikes, and then they found out about the museum and couldn't think of a better place to have these bikes. And I think this bike is just super special because it's just like a complete time machine from like 1992. And like you could tell this dude like he rode everything on this bike. And if anybody knows what cages these are, that would be sick. Or Brian Strebe says they're Paul's Parts from Indiana was making these, but yeah, I can't find any info about these crazy cages. And then even cooler that his aunt and uncle, donated this into the museum and, tugged at my heartstrings, my heart. It was awesome. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. This was Shad's favorite when Shad came out too. I love the little grip donuts on the brake lever. What were you thinking in 92? Like, you shouldn't even touch those. TNT started in the mid-80s. This bike's from 92. Looks the part, of course. Yeah, they went on to make the Honk Fong Daddy, that crazy frame, the Super Fong that was in aluminum, the King of Dirt. But yeah, these don't have TNT hubs on them, but yeah, the TNT hubs are probably one of the best selling hubs, like from the 80s through whenever cassette hubs came along. So yeah, TNT is rad brand from New Jersey. Another one of my prized possessions, I think would be, I have like 14 of these, but these are original. This is the Hutch Trickstar jig, where I don't know, 99% chance that this Hutch Trickstar came through this jig right here. And then we have right here is the Hutch Pro Racer. Same thing, that almost a great chance that this came through this jig right here. And everybody knows like Hutches because they were stamped Hutch on the brake bridge. When I picked up these jigs from Profile, Jim at Profile, he gifted me this as well, which is an NOS Profile built Hutch. They didn't have a name besides Hutch back then, but yeah, his son Corey would come in after school, drill these brake bridges. And then when I was down there picking up these frame jigs, Jim just gifted this to the museum. And this is definitely one of the coolest things I think I have. Between the frame jigs, this, yeah, a little bit of Hutch history. And then they started making stuff like this wind styler and quickly went under. They should have stuck to nice high quality stuff like this. So if anybody out there has a broken Trickstar that they want me to cut up, I want to stick a Trickstar frame in here, Pro Racer frame back in the jig. I want to cut the front triangle off of it and stick back in here so you can really see how it worked. Yeah. Sentimentally, this is like my favorite bike, like my personal prized possession, I guess. But this was my very first bike I ever got. We got this at a police auction for $25, and this is what I started riding BMX on. Hit my first jumps on this, my very first race on it. So, yeah, in the end, this bike started all of this. Powers BMX, the collection, because my dad kept this when I started the shop. So this is, yeah, I guess realistically the first bike I've ever had in the collection. And yeah, first trophy I ever got. And I don't know why I put that old UGP plate on there. I never ran that plate, but it's just been on there kind of since I had some years and years ago. I put it on there. This jersey was the first Powers Bike Shop jersey. My mom like did on a Cricut or whatever, like hot pressed it. Like this ghetto wear jersey was like my first BMX jersey. I guess we're now into like the late mid school. This I just recently got this. But this is Vic Murphy's. Maybe that's the second favorite table ever. But this is this cover bike, this ride, BMX in 2001. Yeah, this bike has a crazy story. I guess it was given away by Alan's BMX in the UK. And then dude put it up for sale, and I hit him up. And then I had a buddy that was coming to Richmond last year, and I was able to ship it. The dude that I bought it from shipped it to my buddy Radgoff in the UK, and then 8 months later Radgoff came to Richmond and brought it over with him. So big shout out to Radgoff for bringing this over, and he sent me a bunch of money on shipping and brought it over here, and then we put it together. And yeah, nobody has a better table than Vic Murphy. Trying to talk Shad into giving me the most famous table off the curb cut. That bike. Shad has that table bike, and I have this one. So hopefully Shad one day will give it to me. Let's touch on another favorite piece of mine from an era of like when digital media didn't exist really, and videos came out. Like two of my favorite videos growing up, Building the Underground, best trail video ever, might be, and then Odyssey Electronical. And then last year for our 20-year anniversary party, dudes at Odyssey gifted me the Aitken sign from Electronical. And yeah, I was like shaking and crying, like almost crying when I got it. Jacob and Gons came in and was like, Chad, come outside with me. We got something. And as soon as they pulled this giant bike box out of the truck, everybody loves Aitken. and we messed with it for like 3 hours one day, trying to get all the lights working. And we had them all working for like 4 hours, and I look over and half the case not working. And I'm like, dang it. But we got a couple photos of it hanging up with all the lights on. It looks awesome. Especially if you drive by at night, you can see it through the front windows. It's cool. We were on our channel, on a YouTube live video, messing with it. And one of our customers was like, I'm coming in right now. And he came in, brought us a whole rack of Christmas lights because we were just getting so frustrated, like messing with these little Christmas lights. He's like, I know all these work. And so he brought us this giant pile of Christmas lights, and we didn't use them. I think this is everybody's favorite thing about the museum who comes in, has got to be the profile case. This is almost every single limited profile wrapped hubs. Yeah, like cotton candy, the Pittsburgh Malville stem. A lot of people's favorite is like this black paisley up there on the top shelf in the back. S&M shield wrap stuff. These 24 karat gold profile box cranks. They did that for their 50-year anniversary. Pretty awesome. This red and gray set was a sample color that never came out. Pink power subs. They let us do, we did 20 sets of these for our 20-year anniversary. Still have a few for sale if anybody needs them. Going along with the profile case, profile Shelby James here. Pretty awesome with some rare magnesium profile horseshoe pedals that I guess they cut to make even lighter. And we got a cool old motor sheet with Shelby James on it. And then Danny's brother, Timmy Nelson, when they raced at whatever track this was at, some national, didn't say. This is cool. And then the other day I was thinking, I bet we have over 100 pairs of profile cranks in the museum. So if anybody ever wants to come through and count the profile cranks in the museum, help yourself. It was real hard for me to narrow this down. That was just a very small sample of what's here and what I love in BMX, I guess. But yeah, come by, see it for yourself. Over 300 bikes here, plus all kinds of other crazy memorabilia, and there's so much cool stuff here. So if you ever coming through Richmond, definitely come through and check it out. We take donations. If anybody ever wants to donate anything, definitely hit us up.